Myalgic encephalomyelitis has affected every part of my life. It's affected my work life and my social life a lot. I have very little of either, really. I haven't been able to work for about 5 or 6 years or so. I'll be really lucky if I can work part-time or even casual in the future. You know, even that's not a certainty. I haven't even been able to do any drawing or painting in the last 2 years, although I manage about half an hour a day most days to do a tiny bit of activism work, to work on my website. That's probably about as close to work as I get at the moment. Socially at the moment, I can have a close friend visit about once a fortnight or so for a quiet chat, and most days I manage a little bit of email, but that's about it. That's pretty much my social life these days. I haven't gone out with a friend anywhere for 6 years, maybe 7, and, you know, that doesn't look like changing anytime soon. Every day I spend at least 23 hours by myself. I can only talk for a really short period of time each day, or even listen to anyone else talk for very long. That's almost as bad. Without making, I can't do either of those things without it making me just ridiculously more ill afterwards. I've been housebound and almost completely bedbound now for about 6 years. But, about 4 years ago, I also became unable to use the phone as well. That was, and still is, really hard to cope with. I haven't been able to just ring a friend for a chat for 4 years. I can write short emails and the occasional handwritten letter to friends, but, it's just not the same. I'd give anything to be able to just make even a 1-hour phone call once a week. That would change a lot. It's actually a lot easier to say what isn't affected by this illness than what is. Another thing that's really hard to deal with is the loss of independence, not being able to support myself financially, and also having to get family members to do just about everything for me is really hard. I can do almost nothing for myself now. No food preparation. I can't even I can't even do something really simple like make myself a coffee anymore. It's completely beyond me mentally and physically. I'm really lucky that I can still do all my personal care tasks myself. A lot of people with severe ME who are, even sicker than I am by a long way, they can't do that anymore. It's really, really hard losing your independence. It's really hard on me, and it's also hard, on my whole family, and most especially my parents who look after me now a lot. The poverty that comes with having to live on a pension and not being able to work really isn't fun either. I studied, I went to university, I'd have been earning probably quite good money by now, but, I'm not. Instead, I'm on a pension. I have quite large medical bills, almost none of which are covered either by Medicare or by my private health insurance. And, yeah, that poverty looks like continuing the rest of my life, pretty much. Things aren't as bad with money as they could be, thanks to my family, but I can't rely on that sort of thing forever. And, yeah, it's scary. ME has just taken everything, really. There's nothing that's not affected by it. I have such a limited life now. Part of that is just because of the type of illness ME is. It's extremely disabling. But to a large extent, it's the confusion between ME and CFS that has caused just as many problems, if not, I would say, a lot more. For example, the fact that I am so severely affected is because I was misdiagnosed and mistreated as a CFS sufferer for the first 6 years of my illness. When I was first ill with ME, the day I became ill, and for the first 4 years, I was only moderately affected. I could still do 40% of what I used to do for the first, about 4 years of my illness. Now I'm down to less than 5%. I can't even do 5% of what I used to do pre-illness, and it's been that way for the last 6 years, thanks to all the CFS propaganda. The creation of the bogus disease category of CFS has caused so much additional suffering to so many people with ME that are already very ill and vulnerable. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that it's ruined a lot of lives.